Welcome to the Creative Soul Sanctuary, the podcast where we explore the powerful intersection of creativity, faith, and social well-being. I'm your host, Kiyaana Cox-Jones, and each week we'll dive into inspiring stories, soulful practices, and profound lessons that nourish your creative soul. Whether we're talking with incredible guests or sharing personal insights, this space is dedicated to helping you heal, grow, and thrive. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. Let's get started. Well, hello there. I've been waiting for you. Welcome to the Creative Soul Sanctuary, and I am your host, Kiyaana Cox-Jones. And here in the Creative Soul Sanctuary, we meet at the intersection of creativity, faith, and wellness. And I'm so excited for this particular episode. And I know y'all hear me say that a lot, but each episode keeps getting better and better and better. And particularly the guest that I'm going to introduce to you today has a special place in my heart. And before I get started and talking about them, let me get myself together because I'm excited. And if you could hear it in my voice, you know that your girl is truly, truly, truly excited about this guest. So let's start off with a power moment. I know that you've been busy. I know that these moments matter to you. So whether you're driving and listening to it, whether you're listening to it late at night on the other side of the world or early in the morning or the afternoon, wherever you are, welcome to this space. And I want to say to you that you are amazing. You are extraordinary. You are phenomenal. And God did, he like showed out when he made you. He showed out when he made you. And I want to arrest the lies that says that you're not good enough. And in this power moment today, I want you to really focus in on shining bright. Shining bright. And I don't know, I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my spirit that some people have been diminishing their light. And so I hope that today this is a reminder and or a confirmation to you to shine bright. So let's get started with this power moment. So, we always start off taking a deep breath in for 2 and the exhale, making sure that it's longer and releasing for 4. Okay. Deep breath in for 2. 1, 2, and release on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ground yourself. Be aware of your surrounding. Be aware of your body, what it needs. What is it saying to you? Does it need rest? Does it need fun? Does it need laughter? Does it need food? Believe it or not, I would just be going and going as a creative and forget to eat. Not healthy at all. How am I over here praying and worshiping and not feeding the body that has to continue in this? So, did you eat? Get something to eat. Are you drinking your water? Are you taking care of yourself? Being tuned. How can I shine? How can I shine? What is my body telling me that it needs? Deep breath in for 3, and we'll do out on 6. 1, 2, 3, and out on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. How do I need to shine? Do I need to be still? Do you need to continue this power moment later on today? Sit still. Do you need to journal to release emotions? Do you need to make that call to the therapist? What do you need? What do you need? Deep breath in for 3. 1, 2, 3. Release on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sit in that, and we'll do 10 seconds of silence. Ooh, take that moment. You need it. And sometimes what you'll see in your power moments is that you almost feel like the urge to cry because the body is also telling you it needs a release. Sometimes it's not that something is necessarily wrong, but maybe you need a good cry. My daughter is 6, and sometimes I'm, oh, do you need to cry? Yes. And the funny thing is that then in reverse, she'll ask me, Mama, do you need to cry? Like, yes. So sometimes you have to listen to what your body is telling you need. And then what is your spirit saying? Your spirit may be saying you need to read the word. You need a good worship, some time with you alone with God. Where's the sacrifice at? So now that you've had your power moment, let me give you our quote for today. Creativity is allowing the whole mind, body, soul, and spirit to be in alignment. When one is out of whack, there is a crack within the creativity. Find the alignment, find the creativity. Sit with that. All right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have the candles lit. I have the atmosphere set. It smells like frankincense and myrrh in here. And I am so excited to introduce our guest for today. Okay. I'm just gonna let the cat out the bag. He is my baby brother, but he is not a baby. He's a grown full man. So he's my little brother, but he ain't little. I'm actually shorter than him. But it is my brother, Joshua Burton. They call him JLove. I call him Pop sometimes. Josh, come on in the space, bruh. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
What's up, man? What's up? We lit.
Look
Good
at
afternoon,
him.
everybody.
Yes. So if you're watching, you get to see how handsome he is. Look here, don't y'all be sending me all these messages about my brother because I know y'all about to send me messages. Like I'm about to send me messages about my brother. Um, and if you're listening, I hope that you feel my excitement. Josh, welcome to the Creative Soul Sanctuary, brother. Thank you for being here.
Excited.
Yes. Okay, Josh. So if you could use a song to introduce yourself, what would it be?
I actually, the song probably would be. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the artist Joey Bad. I don't want to say his name because it's a curse word in his name. His name is Joey Bad, the word. But
Hmm.
the song is called Shine, and I like that song because it just reminds me as a young black man in America that to just shine, just embrace, my inner gifts and inner talents. And in the song he just talks about, just like his success and talking with his dad, just how he was talking to his dad about just growing up as a man. Now he's talking to his dad about buying buildings and stuff like that. So I just like how it's it just really is it's a motivational, inspiring song for a black man to just always remember to shine. You a diamond. That's something I would describe. I love that song.
Love that. So my brother is a grown man and he's still like he's very cautious not to curse around me. So he'd be like, "Oh, hold on, sis, like this the word, like this what I be trying to say." So, but I just respect that, like full grown man headed into 30s. Well, Josh like, but he headed that way, but he's still just like so respectful.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, few more years when you get there.
Yes, yes. So we are live. We do this like live, Josh. So whatever it is, it's just what it is, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
We're just gonna
baby.
go right into it. Um, so let me like, what are some words that describe who you are as a creator? Wait, before you stop, I'm getting a note. So is your speaker covered at the bottom?
I don't believe
Is
so.
it sitting on? Okay, so then move a little closer, kind of lean in. You know how you do that? You just lean in really quickly, like get your grown man on, like lean in and talk to me. So they want to hear you a little bit louder. There we go. Say something to us.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, yeah. Just lean a little bit closer in. Yeah.
I think it's because I had it on voice isolation, so maybe that's what it was.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I can hear you clear now. All right,
Okay.
Josh. So like I know you,
Mhm.
but the people don't know you. And before you all like, so you got your brother on. So here's my philosophy. I also believe that creativity, when everybody is a creative. Let me start off there. So our community agreements, Joshua, in this space is that as a community, we agree on these things. The first thing is that we listen to understand and not to respond right away. But you and I
Right.
do this anyway. Josh is my sounding board. Sometimes I just call him like, and I go off like, oh my goodness, he's my thought
Yeah.
partner.
Vice versa.
Yes. Then the other one is that everybody is a creative. And I wanted this space to be welcoming and opening to everybody, all different
Yeah.
kinds of forms of creativity. And so then the other agreement is that laughter is good for the soul, but we do that all the time. We laughed all the time. That's our thing. And then the fourth thing is that God is completely in control in this space. And so if we shift from the agendas, because I'm feeling the Holy Spirit and I'm gonna go there with you. All right,
Yeah.
bro.
No problem. I'm with you.
Good. All right, Josh. So tell me, like, what are some words that describe you as a creative? Like, what is and what do you create when you hear the word creative? Like, what makes you go, "That's me"?
When I hear creative, creative could just be anything. I feel like it could be you taking an idea from your mind and just bringing it into the reality. To me, that's what being a creative is because we come from the creator.
That
So
part.
obviously, what his job was, and he had an idea, and he took his idea and made it into reality. And he gave us that gift as well. So to be able to take our ideas and make them to reality, and that's what I think being a creative is. And not just one of the things that I do in to be creative is I create music, but just as a creator, just my ideas in general. You know, I have my street talk interviews that I do. That was an idea that I just had one day in my brain, and I just said, let's forget it, let's do it. I got up and I just, I just stopped procrastinating. I said, even if I don't have all the equipment, I'm gonna just go out there and I'm gonna just do it. And I just put my mind to it. I had a plan, and then I went out there and I put that plan into action. I brought it into reality. Now it's on my Instagram, and you can see the videos on there, and people love it. So that's to me, that's what being a creative is: just taking an idea and bringing it into reality.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So here's my next question then. When did you know, like, oh, I'm a creative? Like, I have gifts. Like, when did you realize that?
Honestly, I feel like I've known that since I was young. I always felt like I was a creative dude because not even it just been in our family from being around you, just from being around our brother Andrew, especially spending a lot of time with Drew. That was my partner. Besides you as a male figure, that was really my partner in crime. So I feel like he allowed me to be in that space to just see what a creator is. Being in the studio, I'm like 8 years old playing with toys, but then I would get up and go get in the booth. So I'm watching my brother put together all these different things, writing the music, finding the beats, stuff like that. So that really just motivated me. And even seeing that, I'm like, I want to do the same thing. So when I'm writing and listening to beats and getting ideas, that showed me like I'm a creator too. I like this. I got a knack for this, so I can do this. So I guess that's kind of what showed me I always knew as a kid. Because even then, being in the church, we had to play got to sing, do an instrument, something like that. So I feel like just the church also allowed to cultivate that idea of I'm a creator because literally we used to play the guitar, we play the drums. So I feel like that idea was cultivated very young.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So here's the thing, Josh. I want to go straight into. I'm gonna go right into like the nick of it. So creativity and faith. And unfortunately, the way that the world, I'm using air quotes for those who listen, and the way the world is like, you look at somebody, you like, oh, well, where's their faith? He has the locks, he got the tats. And I wanted this space to represent the spaces in my own personal life that I am friends and connected with people. And we all, and if you look at me, like I got one earring in my ear. I got a cap on. So you can see me preaching the gospel. And then I'm like straight, look like a
Yeah.
Jersey girl hanging out with you. And I believe that was the beautiful thing about Jesus, that he spoke and hung
Yes.
out with people who were not the people that everybody thought, that the religious leaders thought he should be hanging out with. And
And I
those
think
people
people
were,
forget that.
yeah, and those people were just as beautiful and had such
Yeah.
a great story. Their stories were even more authentic. So I want to ask you, Josh, like, what does like faith and creativity look like for you and your relationship with God?
I would say faith and creativity looks nothing like what people think it should look like. Because honestly, I thought I had an idea what it was supposed to look like, and then he completely showed me what his idea was, what it was supposed to look like, and it looked nothing like mine. And honestly, I say that started with just my everyday work that I do as far as being in the community. I never thought I would be in this space, but now I am, and I don't look like the people that are in this space. It's a lot of women. There's a lot of people that may look the fairer skin. But here I come and I got locks and I got tattoos and stuff like that. But then I come smiling and I come my resources and I come helping people. And I feel like that gives people makes them more comfortable because even yesterday, a gentleman I ran into him, he was trying to get help with his daughter. And he looked like me. He had
Mm,
locks, he had tattoos all in his face, and some people may not want to talk to him and be scared to talk to him. But I walked right up to him and I asked him because he looked like he was troubled. And I asked him what he need help with. I connected him. I was able to help him and things like that. So I feel like faith and creative is the same thing because faith without work is dead. But also faith is, believing in something that you may not be able to see or potentially grasp. So creativity is the same thing because sometimes you don't even have ideas. You don't you don't know what you want
man.
to do. And sometimes he just, you gotta go to him. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I be and I'm like, I'm trying to write a song and it's like, man, I can't think of nothing right now. I gotta give myself a break and I gotta go I have to find a source. And sometimes that source could be God, it could be an idea, it could be an activity, it could be something that I'm doing, something that I saw. That's where I feel like faith and creative runs. It has to come from a source. And my faith comes from a source and my creativity comes from that source too.
You so my love language is throwing things at people when they are like just ooh on it. He said, my faith has to have a source, and thus my creativity has a source. Hashtag that. My faith has to have a source. So the reality of it, Josh, is what you're saying is a lot of us, we don't have a faith source. And so then our
Yes,
creativity lacks.
yes.
There's a big lacking there. So then
Because not to
go
cut you
ahead.
off, but
Mm-mm,
what the
go.
creativity for us saying is like that came from somewhere. So it's like, yes, we have this gift, but somebody gave you that gift. So sometimes you have to go back to the source and you have to ask him, how do I properly use this gift? I'm not gonna take nobody's words, but I just heard a great person say this a couple of days ago. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to reiterate that.
I love him.
I ain't gonna say no name.
As he put some air quotes. Uh I preached a few days ago before before you're listening to this particular podcast. And my brother was sitting in the balcony with my
Mm,
sister and my son, one of my sons. And but there were moments I wanted to drive a point home and I wanted him to know that like I'm the kind of presenter preacher speaker that when I'm speaking, if you are in a space and I see you, like I'm gonna like look at you and like let you know, like give you like a shout out. It's like 3 times, maybe probably more than that. I was looking up in the balcony, like
yeah.
I'm talking to you because I wanted him to know, like I wanted to give like a direct statement to him. And sometimes it also is just beautiful to know, like in the midst of
Yeah.
speaking, you thinking about me, but absolutely, Josh, like there are
Yeah.
things I wanted you to know in that sermon that was specifically to you. And I wanted you to know, like, that our mother would be proud of you, which is my segue into this question. Here we go. You ready? Because you're like, I know she's gonna go here.
I'm ready.
All right. So how have personal experiences such as grief or joy impacted your creativity and how you produce? Personal experiences, grief or joy impacted your creativity and faith. Woo.
So I would say personal experiences have affected my faith and creativity both negatively and positively. I would say just with grief, definitely was a negative at first. It kind of sucked so bad because I was just really sharing my gifts with my mother the day before I found out she even had to go to the hospital. So for
Mm,
me, it just kind of hit like extremely hard, because I literally was just at the studio like before we made like all this music, and I kind of come back to the house, and I'm literally sitting on the porch, I'm just showing her these songs, and she's so excited. She was just always my biggest fan. So no matter what I did, she always was just so supportive and just so involved. So when that happened, I didn't even want to do any music. I just don't even want to touch. I don't want to hear a beat. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want nothing. Just leave me alone. And it was the complete opposite of what I was used to because everybody used to me being so just joyful and energetic. Come to the studio with like 10 of my friends in there. We all having a good time. And I got to the space where I just didn't want to be bothered with nobody. I just wanted to be left alone. And honestly, it took me some time to come out of it. It was just a natural thing. I didn't plan anything. I just applied myself. I think I got a job at like Live or something like that. And I did have a love for hats. So that did help me get into a better space because I didn't want to talk to nobody, but I like hats. And that was a sense of comfort and therapy too because I had to work on a machine. to make the customization. So that was like kind of therapy. That was like a stepping stone to get me back out into public and talking to people and being around people and things like that. But so that's the negative side. But I would say the positive side was it taught me that not to put a timer on anything.
Ooh, that's
And what
good.
I mean by that is the fact of people will be like, "Oh man, when you putting this out, or do you still do music, or do you do this?" And I look up and I see, nowadays with social media, it's like you can see things like that in an instant instead of reading a book. So next thing you know, you see an artist coming up here, 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 here. New artists pop up every day,
Yep.
and sometimes you question yourself and you even compare. You say, "Oh man, I don't sound like that. I
Mm,
haven't made nothing like this, or I haven't even put nothing out in a year." And you'll see,
mm.
you'll feel like, man, am I even doing anything? People are dropping music left and right. And you'll compare yourself like, what am I doing? And I had to realize my race ain't everybody's race. And also, even that, it's not a race. I love Nipsey Hussle so much. He's one of my favorite rappers. He always said it's a marathon. And a marathon, you have to pace yourself. You can't just try to sprint the whole time because by the time you get to the end, you're going to be walking. You're going to be so tired. But a marathon, you really have to pace yourself. It's not about who's the fastest. It's about who can pace themselves, who can control their breathing, who's really been practicing for this marathon because you got to prepare for the marathon as well. So it really just showed me, don't, it's not a rush to the end. At the same time, time is a time. I feel like people try to put into a concept. Time is like we can't even grasp the concept of time because it's so broad. So it's like why put a timestamp on anything? There's no rush to do anything. There's an artist, I think his name was like Jelly Roll or something like that. He's this white guy.
Yep.
This man is like almost 40 something years old, I
Yep.
think, and he won like a Grammy or something. And
Yep.
that just showed me like, man, there ain't no timestamp on nothing. Even Two Chains, he was like 40 years old when he came out.
I didn't
People
know
don't know
that.
that. Two Chains
No.
was he was pretty old when he came out, and this man got more hits than people that's 24 and 25. So it's like there's no rush on anything. I think that's just really what grief and that showed me, but also allowed me to get back to a space of finding myself. Because I also feel like if I didn't go through that grief, I wouldn't be who I am today. People say that, but I really, really believe that. Not saying that I want my mom to pass on, but I feel like if that didn't happen, I wouldn't even be who I am or doing what I'm doing now. But at the same time, I appreciate my mother for giving me that space to be able to mature and know that I'm okay and I'll be all right. I appreciate that from her to even let go because some parents don't want to let go; they want to hold on, and they even cripple you in that space because you're not, they cripple you from being your strongest self. So I really appreciate that from my mom for just the things that I've learned and from being patient, and just from my work ethic. Now I feel like I apply it to my music, to my interviews, to work, and I just really, I just feel like it's a whole different outlook on life, when things and the way that I want to do things. So there was definitely negative impacts for sure, but I feel like the positive impacts definitely outweighed it. And don't get me wrong, there's days where I still wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to be bothered. But at the same time, I have to remind myself, like, man, you got to get out that funk. You have to go do this. You have no choice. You got to go get it. Like, there's a song by T.I. that came out like years ago, and I used to wake up in the morning. I don't know if anybody remember this, but they had a segment in the morning on BT and MTV. They would play videos in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
T.I.
Mm-hmm.
has a song called "Go and Get It." I used to play that song like back to back to back to back to back on YouTube, and I love this song. And just every day I think about, you gotta go get it, man. There's no time to sit around and
Yeah.
sulk. I coach AU football from 5 to 13, and I tell them the same thing. When they want to start crying and boohooing, we're not out here to do that. We out here to work. We out here to get to it. It's time to go get it. Nobody's gonna give it to you, so you gotta go chase it. And that's my mindset every day. I'm gonna go get it because that's what my mom wants me to do it. That's what my father above wants me to do because that's what he do. He a go getter. He not sitting around waiting. He going and take it with the world. He didn't wait for somebody to come and say, "Oh, I'll do it for you." Put it together for you. He went out and he did it himself. He gave us that same power to be able to go out there and get it. So I feel like grief definitely had negative impacts, but it definitely had some positive impacts, and it gave me the mindset that I have now today.
You said a lot. Jeez.
Yeah, I
No, no,
apologize for
no,
all
no,
the.
no, no, no. Don't ever apologize for saying a lot. We need to hear our men, especially our black men, say a lot.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it has been a joy watching you evolve after the loss of our mother, watching you find your voice, even when I'm watching you at work and you're doing your street talks and you're helping the community with resources. And I'm thinking about how many men in the community look like you and need to see people who
Yeah.
look like you doing this work and being a voice for sometimes the voiceless.
Yeah.
But something particularly that you said that like arrested my heart, as you said it in a beautiful way, you said it had to happen. And I'm thinking about the fact that so many times we are angry with God when things happen, and then we
Yeah.
realize like it had to happen. You would have never known this, Josh, but somebody after I preached that sermon on Sunday came up to me and whispered in my ear and said, it had to happen.
Wow.
Actually, it was Gracie's godmother. So Gracie's godmother walked up to me with tears in her eyes. She's like, "Your mom's number is in my phone. I can't take it out." And I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, "Don't worry, I haven't either." I said, "You can call it because we kept it on." But
Yeah. I still
then
have her number as well.
I still call it sometimes and leave these long.
Yeah.
Thank T-Mobile. I just want to tell you for a moment. I'm not getting paid for this sponsorship, but I want to tell you, T-Mobile, you are the realest. T-Mobile
Yeah. Shout out
left this.
T-Mobile.
Yes, Josh. They empty out mom's messages so that because sometimes it'll get full and then I'll call back and it'll be empty again for us to leave more messages. And I was just like, T-Mobile, you are the realest up here helping us grieve this way.
Yeah, that is very dope. Even things like Facebook and stuff like that, you can memorialize pages. Even on her birthday, I just went up there and I left a message for her. But it's even just beautiful to go through and just see all the pictures of the family and the
Yeah,
babies and just to see the memories and stuff like that. So it definitely is dope. They
it
have
is.
services like that that's available.
Yeah, that these media platforms really allow you a space like I like they are on to something because I don't think the world gets it. And we know like
Hmm.
people were saying crazy stuff to us. I don't know about you. Let me speak for me. So people are saying crazy stuff after, well, you know she's in a better place. You can't be crying about
Yeah,
this. I was looking at people like, if you don't
I
shut
don't want to
up,
hear
that's
that.
my mama.
Yeah, I ain't trying to hear that.
Ooh, I am not
Talk
trying
to
to
stay in
hear
the better
that.
place. This is the better place. I want to hear with me.
Like, let me grieve. I want to be angry right now. And and
Yeah,
I'm like, God, and they be saying stuff that they think is like God, and God's like, what?
I
God,
ain't say that.
Was more gracious. God was way
He's
more
the most. He's
gracious.
the he's the most gracious.
Yes. Ooh, Josh. So I also think about this idea like of grieving. So Josh and I, without speaking about this, we did this. I don't know if you remember. So after my mother transitioned, I really didn't cry. I cried like twice. The day it happened, sorry, three times. The day it happened in the morgue when I had to like identify her body. And I remember my siblings,
Yeah.
Josh called me afterwards, like, yo, I'm glad it was you. Like, I'm
I
glad it
couldn't
was
have
you.
done that. I couldn't have done it. Even when we
Josh,
had to
I
go in
didn't
there
think I
for the
could.
viewing, I would have collapsed. Even you see it at the funeral, my knees and gave out.
That's where I'm going about this. So what happened was, so then the next time I said, like, we were preparing to go at the funeral to view the body before, and see, we can have these conversations because when you have started to allow yourself to grieve and do the work, these
And
conversations
heal.
are much easier. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
never had this conversation 3 years ago with Josh.
Oh no, at all.
Not at all. But
Especially
next
not
Sunday is about to
publicly.
make 4 years, Pop.
Yeah.
4 years next Sunday.
Yeah.
So unexpectedly, it was almost like it was an agreement. We go in to get ready to see the body, and I am shaking. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. He's like, I am a nervous wreck. Now, remind you, saw her first, but I saw her like in this pure state like before, and they do all the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And I, as a kid, just never liked caskets. So I knew that this was going to blow my mind. So I was a hot mess. I was like, I was shaking. He was like, come on, sis, come on. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can do this. He's like, sis, just come on in the space. Him and my
Hmm.
husband trying to talk to me. I walk in the room for the private viewing and I lost it. And when I tell you I lost it so bad that I was like, my other siblings couldn't even grieve. I was
They
like,
looking around like, what the heck?
I wailed the whole time. So people kept saying, like, you didn't cry at the funeral. I was like, that's because I cried like a crazy woman last night. I
Right.
mean, him and my little sister Miracle sat around me and I just wailed.
Wow.
I just wailed. And Josh gave me that space. And so then the next day I was like, I feel better. You know where I'm going, Josh.
Oh God.
So the next day I was like, whoo, I got all of that out. I feel better now. So we walk into church.
I didn't really cry at all. That's wonderful.
No. No, even when I called you, I was talking to you, but you were real like numb. I was like, Josh, can you hear me? I was at the airport. I was like, Josh, do you hear what I just said? You said, yep, I heard you. And I was like, are you okay? You were like, yep. You just almost like you went numb immediately.
Yeah.
I was just like, Josh. And I knew I was like, he's not gonna take this because your response on the phone, it was just like very much like matter of fact, like, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I hear
then
you, but
it's not resonating. And
it's
I
not
was with my
resonating. Yeah.
baby sister, but I wasn't with him. So we get into church, and Josh is in front of me, and me and my husband, and we're in this line. We like in the back of the line because we the last view, and my other siblings in front of him. I'm
Oh
carrying my
God.
purse, and we walking. Now, remind you, I done wailed like a. Ah! Like, sorry for the loudness. That's what it sounded like, y'all. I had to get it out. I was shaking my legs. Y'all, I was doing a full show. I was about to win an Oscar.
Cool show.
Josh, full show. I needed this private space because I also knew that I was
Taraji
about to,
moment.
yeah. I was like, I needed
Full
this.
Taraji. Oh God, yeah, that was a full Taraji moment.
Full Taraji Howard University moment. Full. So then, Josh, so we walk in now. I'm like, I feel better. I got it out. This is gonna hurt, but I got it out. But my brother didn't get to cry last night because he was holding me the whole 30 minutes that we were in there. And so then I'm behind him and you could feel it. I'm gonna let him tell what he was thinking because later on he said the music, and then my one of my best friends, Veronica, was saying, he's like, the music, the song, the church, I couldn't. So he was in front of me. And I
Yeah.
looked at my husband and I looked down at him. I was like, my brother's legs are shaking. And so like now I'm in tune where he was in tune with me the night before. I'm in tune. I'm like, hmm. So I'm still carrying my purse. And literally, guys like, watch Joshua. So everybody's like trying to talk to us, but I'm just like in tune. Like I see his hand. He got like this bracelet on his hand, but his hand is like, he's shaking his hand. And like we keep getting closer. And then he does this thing with his glasses. He pushes his glasses back and he wipes like it's like he knows like that. You can tell he's trying to hold it together, but I'm watching his legs. And his legs are shaking so much. I was like, he's getting weak. And before I could say anything, I instinctively dropped my purse on the floor to go in, and my brother just like collapsed in my arms, and my heart broke because I could feel is what I felt the night before, is what I felt in that moment. But
Yeah.
I think without us saying it, like, hey, you give me tonight, I give you tomorrow. We did it.
Yeah.
um,
Definitely was an exchange.
what if you're okay with sharing, what were you thinking in that moment? Because when we talk
Uh,
about grief, like you heard Josh say, like, this is how I got to this point, but it's not easy to walk through grief, especially when it's sudden. We did not expect our mother. That's not, we thought this
yeah.
woman gonna be like 80 some years old, 90. So especially when it's sudden, and he was with her.
Yeah.
I was in PA, he was with her in Atlanta. So sudden. What were you thinking in that moment, Josh?
I was just a lot going on, in the room, the environment, like I said, the music, just the aura, just the music, the song that I was singing. But not even just that, it was just the realization constantly kicks back in every
Mm,
day. Like it's not just a one day thing or a one time thing. Every day realization kicks back in like, dang, I'm really not gonna get to talk to her again. I'll really never be able to see her again. Even when I think I seen you sent me a video when I heard her voice, that just like I don't even know what to use the word to describe, but it just like baffled me because I haven't even heard my mother's voice in so long. So like it just put me in a different mind frame. Like, wow, I really won't be able to talk to this woman again. And yeah, my sister is my best friend, but my mom is my
yeah.
best friend. That was the person who I told everything to. She was my confidant. We were literally best friends. I was sitting on her bed. We would talk for hours and hours and hours. She would preach to me for hours and hours. I would come to her and tell her something that happened. Next thing you know, she would go into a Bible story. That would go into a Bible story. That would go into another Bible story. And it would be so dope and animated that I wouldn't even be sitting there. I would just be just eyes bright, and I'm just so interested because of the way she would talk and explain the word and talk about God and Jesus and things like that. So like she and just to realize this person who had such a big impact on my life is gone. And literally was crazy because like you said how it happened. We were on vacation. Like what has to happen on vacation? I
Mm.
even ask myself that all the time. I try pictures that how Apple and Facebook does, where they have these memories come up, and like you said, it'll be a year in the next few weeks. So this is the time period that we literally went down there. So it's crazy that they're sending me. I'm looking back at memories, and it's kind of like a bittersweet because like yeah, that was a good time. I had fun to land, and my friends were there and stuff like that. But at the same time, I also lost something. So it was like it was very, very emotional for me. Even still to this day. I have my days where I'm fine, I laugh about it, and I can move on. But then there's days when I just don't want to talk. And I realize that's okay. There's days when I don't want to be bothered. And I realize that's okay too because I push through, I push through, I push through. Sometimes you have to give yourself that break to just say, I need a break.
Yeah, that part,
Sometimes you
Josh.
have to give your space to just say, "Hey, I don't want to talk right now. Can you just leave me alone?" And I also explain why I do this way. I don't just push people away. I explain so they know and they can understand. At the same time, you have to give yourself grace. And even then, it's funny because God gives us the most grace, so why can't we give ourselves grace and others grace?
That's
But it
good.
was very, very emotional, very, very emotional, and very tough. So to this day, it's not easy and it doesn't ever go away. I don't think I'll ever be completely healed. I think I'll be healed enough,
It's a
but
journey.
I don't think I'll ever be completely healed. And because I was somebody who was just something that was just she was a rock. When rocks are constant, they don't move. It's something that's solid. It's always there. It's a solid factor. It doesn't move. She was just that solid foundation that just didn't move. She was just like, what do they say between a rock and a hard place? She was just like that, just like the rock in the storm that just wouldn't move. She was always there when you need her, count on her for anything. So just to realize, like, man, this person who really vouched for me for everything cannot be is not here anymore. So that realization is really what I think that's really the kicker. That's really where the pain comes from. It's not really, yeah, grief is there, but it's the realization that hits you over and over and over. Man, she's really not here. See pictures, and then it's like you have to still go through life. So whether you're raising kids or whatever you're doing, my
Yeah.
daughter, she turns 5. My niece will turn 6. My sister's birthday will come. My birthday will come. And it's just like, wow, mom is really not here to see me and stuff. And it's like, yeah, she sees us. I understand that. But it's like physically she's not here to. So it's like even when you have the word, that makes it bittersweet too. I'm not gonna lie because it's like you understand God's plan. Well, let me not say that because we don't understand. We know He has a plan and we
Come
know
on
how
here.
things
Yeah.
operate. We know how He operates and works. But at the same
Yeah.
time, you don't want to hear it all the time. So it's like people
That's true.
throwing it down your throat. You understand the word. Yeah, I know the word, man, but my heart is hurting right now.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
understands that. That's why I feel like he gives us that space to grieve because he understands we're still emotional. We're still humans. And that's what I had to understand as a man. I am fine with accepting my feelings. I cry. I don't feel like talking sometimes. I break down. And I had to come to a point of realizing that's just being a human. And
Mm.
but that's really what it was for this journey. But in that moment, that's what I was just thinking about, the realization.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really what it was for me, the
It-
realization.
so I'm gonna come back to mom because I feel like she's deposited something in you that really is needed for what you just said. You said, I'm a man and I cry and I'm in tune with my emotions. And I
Oh
know
yeah.
that you just led one of the initiatives at your job in regards to like celebrating men. So you all did like
Yes,
the
yes.
city of Newark did their own like you work in like the health
Excuse me, my
department.
allergies are kicking my butt. I hear my allergies, but I know this is the weather up and down. So my allergies are kicking my butt. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. Um, so you all just celebrated like your own like men's health
Yes.
awareness and month or a week. And can you talk to me about when we talk about this idea of vulnerability and faith with men? Particularly black men, but just men, period. Like, what does that look like? And was there a space where you didn't feel comfortable doing that? Was it the transition of mom that made you feel more comfortable to say, I need to lean into my emotions? What was it that was the switch for you, Josh, of finding this authentic way to present yourself as a man outside of what world considers a man and showing up as your emotions? And I even thank you for being an example for my sons of how like it's okay to be in tune. It's okay to say you messed up. Fix it, brother.
hmm
Like, talk to me about that.
Um, I think really what the change was my generation and social media. And what it was the fact of just looking online. And I don't like to like watch this stuff a lot now, but there was a point where you had no choices on your feed or your story of just like this whole zesty talk and like this whole sassy. Like, and, you know, we hear this term of this is the sassy man. And you hear these talks of being alpha male and all of this stuff. And I had to come to a point like, okay, what he's saying, I kind of agree with what they're saying. But then again, it's like, I'm my own person. I'm not about to be sitting here taking advice from these people who behind a screen. This person could be sitting in a gold room for right there, but then when he walk out this room, this man probably live in his car or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to just pick out. Yeah, just understand reality. We're humans. My thing is, I'm not gonna let somebody call me sassy because I felt some kind of way about something. I'm not gonna let a man or woman call me sassy because I want to cry, or I feel depressed, or I feel sad, or I feel confused, or I feel, whether I feel any kind of way. That's really what it was, just being in tune with my emotions and understand as a man, it's okay. And what it really was, understanding the emotion of anger. And
Ooh.
and that's a really big one for me because for me, it's very triggering because for as a growing up, I've definitely had to deal with having anger problems and things like that. And even growing up, still coming into my young adulthood, I still have to deal with it. And now I feel like as coming into my me being a young man, I deal with it, but to a certain extent, where it's not as like tantrums as I was as a child. But there'll be times I get frustrated with things like that, but understanding that anger is an emotion. And it's okay to get angry, but but then again, I'm not sure what the exact verse is, but it's okay to be angry, but then again, not to go out there and sin and beat somebody up and
You
break
said the
something and
scripture. You
break,
said the scripture.
you know.
Get angry, just don't sin.
Yeah, so that's really what it was. But like I said, just started off with first with the whole zesty and sassy culture. It is not zesty nor sassy to be to feel some kind of way about something. If somebody say something to you and it hurts your feelings, that's okay because the God literally put these emotions in us. As a man, we need to understand it's okay for somebody to say something to you and it hurts your feelings. It is okay for even a woman to say something to you when it hurts your feelings. You are a human being. So I feel like that's where it really started at. Just this whole sassy and zesty talking, men thinking we gotta be just extra tough. Don't believe me. Believe me, I think I'm a pretty tough guy. But
Yeah,
at the
you are.
same time, I will cry if I feel like my feelings will hurt. If I feel like my feelings are hurt, or if I have to, I will convey to you, man, that hurt my feelings. I had to tell my friend that before. I had to tell my nephew this before. I had to tell even sometimes I had to tell my coworkers things like that. But that hurt my feelings. I didn't like that. So just really just being aware of our emotions, also being in check of our emotions too, though. So that's what I think what it really was. And the conversation that we had the other day with the men in my job, we had something called I don't know what I call it. I call it a men's real talk. And it
Mm-hmm.
was just about family, was about family dynamics, was about self control, self care, fatherhood, things like that. And really, would I just wanted to create a space for the men to just be vulnerable with one another. But I feel like yes, we can be vulnerable, with our women and things like that. But at the same time, as men, it's our job to ultimately solve problems. So I feel like at the same time, when you have these different problems as a man, the best person you can go to is a man, and you can talk to your wife, you can talk to your therapist or whatever like that, but this is my personal opinion. I feel like you have to go to the people who share these things in common with you. And your woman, she's not a man. She can't share these things in common with you because she's not charged with things that we're charged with because she's a woman. Well, as men, God charges us with different things. So you have to go to others that have that same charge. And you
Charge.
have to talk. You have to talk to them. Yeah, I mean, my uncle taught me that. As men and women, we're all charged with different things. At the end of the day, it was men we're charged to solve problems, and solve problems. We also have to work, but so that's our charge. So you have to talk to other people about that, and then talking to the other men, I realized they needed somebody to talk to too. And because I think what it really is, men we try to walk around like this. Oh, I'm me on myself. I don't need nobody. I don't want to walk around like that. I want to lean on my brother as much as I can. And it's because we don't. I don't want to have to just be the lone wolf. Wolves don't walk around in lone. They walk around in packs, and they don't be just
Mm.
one big wolf. It could be multiple strong wolves in a pack. They all just play different roles. And I don't mind playing a role. And in my job, what I did was I brought all these men together, and everybody I felt like played a different role in the room. It was different ages, different age groups, different generations. And the younger ones was able to give advice to the older ones, and the older ones was giving advice to the younger ones. And everybody was in the space of vulnerability and just being able to listen and being able to vent. Hey, bro, I'm going through this as a father. I feel like my family feels like this, I feel like that. Being able to just really express how you feel. Not I feel like even that's the same thing with our youth. Yesterday at practice, we had a little scrimmage, and after the scrimmage was over, my team lost the first time. So they were a little emotional. They started to cry. They started to get frustrated, and I was just looking like, wow, look at these young boys. They're crying and getting frustrated. And we talk to them, it's nothing. No, I'm okay. And I'm like, oh my
They're owning it.
gosh, they're owning it. But at the same time, tell me what's wrong. Nah, there's nothing. No, tell me. I didn't catch the ball. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Express that. Because if you think about it, they're learning at a young age to hold that in, and that's not good, especially as a young man. So it really just showed me. I think God is just showing me what my purpose is supposed to be. I still really don't know, but I feel like little by little, He just unveiling it to me. And it was just showing me yesterday. And I think that in our Black community, as Black men, we don't acknowledge emotions, and that's why I think that's why I think there's such a big deal nowadays when people say things like zesty and this whole sassy culture and stuff like that. I think that's what really just pushed me into the light of dealing with these emotions and things like that. But like I said, just seeing those kids yesterday, the way they were dealing with their emotions and they didn't even want to talk. They were just so angry and just so bothered. They just wanted to be left alone and wanted to go sit down. I really had to take one and I had to stand. I had to turn him away from everybody else. And I stood in front of him. I'm never going to run away from that confrontation. I'm going to run to it because I want them to have a voice. Hold on. What's the problem? Say it. Get it out. Once you get it out, you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Once he said what the problem was he was so mad at himself because he felt like he messed up and he didn't do what he was supposed to
Um,
do. At the same time, if you don't say that and convey that, you can't even get it out. And once he said that, it was my job to remind him, man, this is just a game. This is practice. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. I felt like that made me happy that he was bothered that he messed up because it showed that he want to do better.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's just what it really is, though. As Black men, young men, older men, all levels of men, I think it's just we have to acknowledge the emotions. If you're angry, acknowledge that, process that. Now, how do you move forward? You
That's good.
sad,
Yeah.
acknowledge that, process that. How do we move forward?
So let me ask you a question, Josh. How does creativity then help in sharing what you feel? How has that been helpful in using creativity to be able to express what you feel?
Creativity, I feel like, tell me one more time.
It's okay. How has creativity helped you in expressing how you feel? In what
Me
way?
personally,
Or other people that you've noticed, but like you're like, hey, you got to be able to express it. Well, has there been a certain way in which you've used your creativity to get it out? Like, hey, I'm gonna use this creative avenue to get this
mhm.
emotion out.
I say as far as well, definitely with the music first. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that the music definitely helps because especially I have songs that I haven't put out yet, but some of these songs I'm talking about my deepest feelings and emotions and things that I went through, whether it be love or heartbreak or grieving as far as my mother, because that was a very big part of my life. And love is something we also go through. And it's funny because it's also kind of ties into my brand that I really working on expanding. And it's gonna be called Heartbreak. Heartbreak
Mm,
music group. But when I say that is because I feel like life is filled with heartbreaks. And that could be heartbreak of a dream. It could be
yeah.
heartbreak of losing somebody. It could be
Mm,
heartbreak of an idea. And I just feel like with the music, that was me able to get out, feel my emotions, and I would come back and I think I'm a Virgo, so I'm always in my head all day long with these thoughts and thoughts, and my brain never shuts off. So it's like it helps me able to get those words out. But also, just not even on music. I have a this is what I really want to bring with my journal that I have. And my mom gave me this journal like 4 or 5 years ago. And I still
oh.
have it. You can see I was beaten up. You just see like the rips and stuff on it. I had it for so
Oh,
long. It's kind of bent and
she's
everything.
so good for that.
And I won't show you what's inside of here because literally it's my brain. But
Oh.
literally, this is how I also get out my creative rhythm. This is not music. This is just me writing out my thoughts. And there's no. Sometimes I don't even go line to line. I'm all over the place with it sometimes because that's literally just me emptying my brain out. And that's one of the ways that helps me be creative. Drawing is another thing that I'm personally with my creative. I like to sometimes with the little like not the coloring books, I guess you could say, but sometimes I do that. I'll color. I'll color. That
Yeah,
helps me. But just finding different avenues. Working out is a creative for me. People don't think working out is a creative, but it
it
is.
is.
I get funky with my workout sometimes, and I do different things when I'm running. When I'm that, it gives me a moment to like clear my brain, and I get to think. When I'm running, because like I like to run on the track or even on the streets or a trail or whatever like that. But when I'm running and I'm looking out ahead of me, it's just like I'm just able to think and process and get out those thoughts and ideas in my head. And even something that I was thinking about earlier today will come back to me. And now I'm able to process those thoughts and be able to really release those things. But just also finding different avenues, whatever it doesn't have to, people think creative is dancing or singing. Creative is really, like I said before, taking an idea that's in your mind and bringing that
Yes.
into reality. So whatever that is for you, that is to help you to release or to get out those emotions or ideas, that's your creative. So if your creative is to go work on a car, or to go build something, or to go write something, or anything you want to go do, that's being creative. So that's what helps me. Writing, drawing, coloring,
Ah,
music, writing my music. When I write in my this is really just the biggest one. Writing in my journal because it could be I could have a moment at work where somebody could piss me off. Come back here, so and so done got on my nerve. I can't stand them. But it's good because I can say that to myself and I feel a lot better because I know that I just wrote that idea down. So instead of me telling you how you get on my nerves, I just wrote it down, close it. Once I close it, I move on.
good. So I see the book. And see, look,
I
see,
just go
that's
back to
a,
one go back 1 second.
yeah.
But that's why I want to think if I forget. I want to say close it and move on. Another part of the healing process is I wrote that down, put it in my book, but it feels so good when you come back weeks later, a day later, a couple days later, a month later, a year later, and you look back and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I was going through. That's what I was doing. That's what I was going through. This was my mindset. And it's like, and you see how whatever problem I had, I look at where I am now, and it's like, man, God put me out of what I was asking for. God solved that. So for
Mm.
me, that's just really that was really something that I felt like was a big thing.
Good. So you hit it right there. So one, I didn't know about this journal. So y'all, this is new information to me. But that is my mother. That is my mother. And I do now I'm thinking about me. Like I have things that I've said or given each of the boys and Savannah Grace that is just between them and I to cultivate their
Mhm.
particular gift. And that's just a reminder how individually she's poured into her. So like for my 33rd birthday, the birthday before the last birthday I had with her, she gave me a Bible because I wanted, she was like, Kiyaana, you so, only you, daughter, you so Jesus lover. That for your birthday, I was gonna buy you anything. You gonna tell me you want a Bible, but you know, mommy and her. But
Yeah.
it made me think, Josh, to ask you, what are two things that she deposited in you, one creative and one in faith, that she deposited in you that is truly something that you continue to this day?
With my music, not just my music, with my creative, I would just say she gave me the freedom and the space to express myself.
Ooh, okay.
So that's why I feel like even with my baby, with her being, even she's 5, I am so big on expressing herself. So when she
Yeah.
gets frustrated, she gets sad, I could tell because she's really just like me. I could see it all over her. If she's upset, I could see it all over her face. When she's bothered by something, I can tell automatically because she's just like me. So I literally, what's wrong? Tell me. And I feel like if she's fine and I can get that through her head or at an early age, she'll be better off than I am. And she'll be able to explain to people this is how I feel or convey our emotions better. As adults, we're grown adults, and some of us can't even convey our emotions
No,
without even, So I feel like
without ready to
that's the
cuss
space
somebody out and fight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or even not saying it's wrong, but even without breaking down and crying within the middle of it, because that's an emotion, but you got to process that and be able to
Yes.
say. So
Yeah.
that's something that I definitely feel like she gave me the space to express myself, and that's what, yeah,
Good, good.
to express myself.
And then how has she poured into you faith?
Everything, I would say my faith, my belief system, everything I believe was set up in my mother, and what they say. This is another. I don't want to. this is kind of new paraphrasing, but when they say raise a child up, and they will never. I'm paraphrasing, but raise a child
Yep.
up, and they're pretty much they'll never depart. And I feel like
That's
that's
it.
something
That's
really
it.
what it was. My mother raised me up in the church, in the Bible. My father, he's a bishop. Both my grandmothers were overseers growing up. My sister was a minister, and so just my other sisters sing and my cousins praise dance. So just being really raised in the church and having that foundation of there's a higher power, and we're connected to that higher power directly. That's just really something that she really literally engraved in me. So it's like something that I never forget. It's also the power of prayer. So which is like
Yeah.
when things get rough, that's what somebody was telling me. I forgot who, but it was like, man, that shit like you're a prayer warrior. And I never really looked at that like that. I ain't no prayer warrior, bro.
Yeah.
I know some prayer warriors for real. And so it's like somebody said I was like, man, I ain't no prayer warrior. But now that I think about it, I believe that I am because one thing for sure and two things for certain, when something goes wrong, the first thing I would do is pray. Other day I was driving, other day I was driving to Pennsylvania. The next thing you know, this freaking rain just came out of nowhere. And usually I like the rain because it reminds me of my mother, but this rain was scary. I'm driving in the middle of the highway, there's cars around me and trucks and stuff like that. I got so scared, I had to turn the music off. I turned the music.
John's like, wait a minute, I
I
want to.
turned, yeah, I turned the music off. I turned my head, but the windshield was all the way up. But then I started praying immediately because it's like, God, listen, I know if anything, I know if anything else don't work, you always gonna work. So it's just like, let me just go ahead and talk to you real quick. Like, listen, man, I got the guy keep my vehicle covered, keep me covered, keep everybody else in the road covered. I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna get to my destination safe and sound. But that's one thing that she definitely instilled in me was the power of prayer and that life and death is in the power of your tongue. So if you want to change the situation, speak.
Yeah. Do you remember she well, I was on the phone with her and she told me to call you. So then I called you on three-way. You were like, hey, Cole. And I was like, Josh,
Yeah,
mommy on three-way. And then she started talking to us. No lie, our mother told us she was about to die.
yeah,
She
she
straight out
definitely
said
did.
to us, I'm going to die. Let me tell
And I
you,
be you when the miracle started going crazy. No, don't say that. Don't say
yes, yes.
that. I remember,
That's what made me
yeah,
think of this when you
so
was like, I'm not a prayer warrior. Well, I mean, you're shifting your mindset. I'm like, you are most definitely a prayer warrior. Because let me tell you, in that moment, I could not pray. I was so bothered because I had never, she's been sick since I was 14. I'm so after Josh was born, because I'm 14 years then older than Josh. So she had been sick pretty much most of our lives. And I never
yeah.
heard her say, I'm going to die. So
Yeah,
it
she never spoke like that.
she
She always
never
told us
spoke
life
that.
and death wasn't the power of the tongue.
Yes. I'm like, you are the woman who told us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So it's me, Joshua, and a miracle on the call with her. And she like outright says, I'm going to die. Miracle going off. I literally was like, how could you say that? Speak like I am going in, y'all. So then she goes, well, let's pray. I'm like, I don't feel like praying. So I said, Josh, you pray.
Yeah,
Because
miracle
I
yeah,
did
John
not
Luke.
remember. I was like, Josh, you
Yeah,
pray. I did not even have, I was so hurt. And now I'm thinking about it. Maybe it was because a part of me felt like if she's saying this, it's probably true. And I did
true.
not, because I never, ever in my life, she has gone through kidney disease, lupus. I've seen her in pain with this. They put the stent in for the
Yeah,
the
for her
the, the
heart.
dialysis. I remember her shaking the bed when I walked in
I
the house.
remember even when she was going through the situation with her heart, with the whole AFib and
Yes,
stuff like that. I remember
never,
all these different scenarios and situations. She's never ever gave up or quit.
never.
And
And for me, I was like, I think I rejected it because I never heard her say it. And so maybe, not maybe, even in this moment now, I'm having this realization, Josh, of in that moment I rejected it because if she is saying this, then there's a chance that this could be right. And I remember I didn't have the words. And for those who are like, but you're a prayer warrior. In that moment, I understood the gift that was in my brother. I was like, I cannot pray. Josh, I was so frustrated. I was like, Josh gotta pray. And Josh prayed and prayed down something serious. And they gave me a little piece because I couldn't form the words. I was like, well, then Josh, you pray because I don't. I was upset. I was upset.
yeah,
And you did.
that's
I
one
remember
thing.
that.
That's one of the things that I definitely feel like has stuck with me is just the power of prayer. Just this because I've just seen it my whole life. You first when you see prayer put on people, and then you see that prayer come into fruition, and somebody's life changes.
That
You
part.
know, and even then, one thing that I always remember said that when one and two when two
When
come
we're where
together,
there's one or two who are in agreement and harmony, whatever we ask in Jesus' name, it shall be done.
I'll be done. Yes. So that's just
Yeah.
really what it was. Just the power of the tongue and the power of prayer. You have life. You can speak life over yourself. You can speak life over others. So just to understand the power of your word, the power of the tongue. That's really what it was. The power of prayer.
And Josh, I appreciate that you don't stray away from God, because I think people like, I got to know every scripture and I got to know it for name. I got to know that First John, second chapter, verse 43. And that you're like, there's a scripture that, like, the word, it's in you. And so you're like, there's a scripture that says, and I love that you're gonna pull out every seed that was deposited in you, and you're like, I know. That's why the scripture says, raise up a child in the way that should go. When they get older, they won't depart from it. Now they may depart from you, but they won't depart from it. And hearing,
Yeah,
even now that our mother is not here, but the word that she deposited in you is
it's
there.
still
So as
here.
you're speaking, I'm like, yeah, that's it, Josh. That's it. Don't have to be like, you don't gotta say it fancy, like, well, come on, turn to Romans 8:28. You know, but now sometimes you may need that and pull on a little, yank your ear a little bit and give it.
Yeah.
But you know it, and you say it. And I think it's just a reminder to people who are listening and or watching that it's so, just, you got to know it. You got to know it inside of you and be able to trust the
Hmm.
God in you. Josh, as we got two more things we want to do, but I do want to give room for, like, if there's some young men, young boys listening to this who are trying to tap into their creativity but struggling, like, identity, like, who am I, what's my voice, maybe they're grieving the loss of a parent or the loss of,
Hmm.
like, what they thought life was going to be like. Yes, I said be like. And so whatever it is, like, what advice would you give them in regards to faith, in regards to finding their voice and creativity, in regards to knowing who they are and tapping into, like, their emotions and being honest to say, I'm not okay.
Get a friend. I would say get a mentor. I would
Mm,
say get a mentor, or just get some type of male, somebody that's older than you, some type of male role model or a mentor, somebody you can talk to or lean on. If you can, get a group of friends that you can lean on. But you have to have a team of people, especially as men. We need a team. We like to be macho and say we don't do it on our own. But I would say getting a team is one, because my uncle definitely contributed to, I feel like, the mindset that I have now, because technically I kind of feel like a mentorship with him like 2 years ago before I even started what I'm doing now. And I feel like that year that I took to go through that mentorship, that training that I had to go through, that altered my mindset, because I was still had a little boy's mindset. Because, and not even that I wanted to, I was trying to, I had the desire. I was trying to find myself. I just didn't
mm,
know where to start.
mm,
So, and you have to find somebody who knows who they are, so they can be able to help you find who you are. And as a man, I just feel like that's just really important to have other men around you that are older, because, like I say the other day, we have the youthfulness, we have the energy, we're ready to get out there and go do it, but they have
mm-hmm.
the experience. They already
Yeah.
been there already. So if I can go talk to somebody and they can tell me something so I can, take some steps out or skip some steps or get somewhere faster, I'm gonna talk to you all day. So that's what I was just saying. Find somebody that you can use as a mentor. Find somebody who could just who you can just soak up all the information. Just be a sponge.
Mm,
Be open
good.
minded. Don't think you have all the answers, because you don't. You can give somebody some advice or information as a younger man, but you don't know everything. So just be open to always receive new information. Be a sponge and just soak up as much as you can. That's what I would just say, to find your voice. Find your creative, and that could be anything. Find your creative. Nowadays with social media, there's so many different ways to create. If you want to go in there and make a podcast, or go in there and just go in your story, Instagram story, and even if one person watches, just talk. Somebody, you'll find your people eventually, and the right people will come across, and they'll listen and they'll like understand what you're saying. But just find your voice. I would say, one, get a mentor again, or can keep on saying it, get a mentor, get a mentor, get a mentor. I feel like that's super important. And if you can't find a mentor, get a role model or somebody who you feel you could relate to or talk to. And the second one will be, just find your creative, find your voice. It doesn't have to be music. I feel like everybody probably got it. You don't have to be an artist, bro. You can go make
Thank
a beat.
you.
You don't have to be an artist. You can make beats. Listen, if I could, I would be a producer, because them producers are groovy. Them them beats are crazy, you know. And I love music all around. So just from the production to the actual music to everything, I love all of it. So just find you could be an instrumentalist. You could play guitar, play piano. You know, you could do anything. Just find your creative. It could be just working out. It could be your creative. Getting out into the community,
Good.
taking a walk could be your creative. Sometimes you got to get out and let that sun hit your melanin and just recharge you. You know,
Mm,
sometimes that's what it really is. Just finding whatever your creative is and just getting out. As black men, we don't really get out a lot. I'm not saying we don't do anything, but it could be just get out the house, man. Get
yeah.
out the house, do more things. Go to the park, go to the beach, go hang out, go to the
Yeah.
go. That's all I'm gonna say is go. Go and they I'm gonna give somebody a tip right now. Go on Eventbrite. You got a phone, you got a computer. Go on Eventbrite
Mm,
and type in events near me, and they have look at things, different ideas, and don't be scared to try new things. That's another thing I would say. So I got into a space so that I've not been scared to try new things. I've encountered new people that I've never thought I would have met. I've learned new things that I've never thought I would have learned. I've opened my mind up to just how big the world is. So just don't be scared to try new things, especially as black men, because we feel like there's a stigma of, oh, I gotta be tough, or I gotta do this, or I can't do that. But that's for them. No, that's for us too. So
good. And what about
yeah,
spiritual growth? What would you say to these young boys about like faith and spiritual growth?
it's gonna look different for all of us. That's what I would
Mm,
say. I feel like we think like faith has to look a certain way. And faith is not supposed to look a certain way. Faith is supposed to look different on all of us. My faith is not going to look the same as your faith, and their faith ain't going to look the same as our faith. And I feel like we have this idea, but faith in God is supposed to look like it's supposed to be this man with a three-piece suit on and speaking like this and talking like this, and that's not what it's supposed to be. It's going to be different in everybody's reality. And I would just say one thing with just social media, you see that firsthand with these different pastors that are coming up, and they all look different. They all sound different. They all talk different. And I like that, I really do appreciate it. But just as a black man too, I had to really just look at what is spirituality and faith with me. And I realized it looks different. I don't look like everybody else. And I think it's so amazing because when I talk to people, I start talking about God, I start talking about faith, and I have, my locks, I have tattoos, I have, my chains on, I got a little nice little silk shirt on today, but I usually have a big old Cuban link neck around my chain, a chain around my neck. So I look different. I don't look like how you would think somebody who preaches, not preaches the God. Technically, yeah, I'll
you
say that.
street preacher?
Technically, exactly preaching the gospel how you would think they're supposed to look. But also at the same time, I just want to remind people that the people that God walked around, or Jesus walked around with, God walked around with, they weren't what you would think those people that technically
No.
how they're supposed to look. These guys were technically what they were. You would technically characterize them as gangsters nowadays. People would say they were criminals or gangsters. That's who he walked around with because he wanted to show that he could take anybody. He wanted to, and I'm sorry, that was the best example. He wanted to show that anybody could bring it to me.
Yeah.
Anybody could be a voice. He wanted to show anybody. That's why they say come as you are. Because if you don't come as you are, you can't be an example for everybody else to show that man, she looked like this and she could do this. But he looked like that and he could do this. So I feel like that's what it really is. Just
Good, Pop.
understanding it's gonna look different in all of us.
Good. So our last segment is called Creative Soul Soliloquy. This is one of my favorite parts. It's where like I randomly give, so there's a random each one of us. So either one of us can go. You could give it to me and then I can do it, or I can give it to you and you could do it. Essentially, we
Okay.
give either one word, one sentence, something random, a scripture, but anything, and the other person on the spot got to use their gift. They can either and come up with something. So for me in one of my episodes, somebody gave me like they gave me 5 different scriptures and I had to come up with a monologue from using all 5, a whole monologue and then a musical. It's like so and with on the spot improv. So would you like to give it or would you like to receive it?
I guess I'll give it.
Say again.
I'll give it.
All right, so you're going to give it to me.
Yes.
All right, so you'll give it to me. You're going to give me any random word, any random whatever you want, and then I have to come up with something in the spot. Is that okay? That's what you want to do, or do you want me to?
Oh yeah, I thought I was gonna be. Yeah,
Okay,
so let's
okay, so you want me to get
let's see
okay.
who
All
get
right. So I'm gonna
yeah.
give you anything, and I'm looking around my office for something random. Oh, okay. Hold on. I got a Tupac book. I got a Tupac book. Oh man. Okay, I got it. You ready? In the
Mm-hmm.
spot, you got to use your gift. Now, Josh also, he not gonna say spoken word, but the truth of the matter is that too. Josh is an artist in every sense of the word, a creative. Josh has been an actor, has led in plays, and like got his Denzel on, young Denzel doing it. It's my alarm. Let us know we in the right section. So here we go, Josh. Um, two things I want you to combine. uh Mommy's favorite scripture was Romans 8:28. We know all things work together for the good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that take mommy's scripture of Romans 8:28 and Tupac, Dear Mama. So if you had to do a Dear Mama and somehow incorporate all things work together for the good, what would creatively, how would that come out using your gift? All right. Take a moment while you are taking your moment to think. I'm gonna really quickly talk to the people and remind you to please take some time to like this particular episode. If you are on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, please take some time to like it, to subscribe to the channel, to share it. If you're listening to this on podcast, please download wherever you are listening, and take some time to share this with somebody. This is a really great episode in regards to creativity and emotions, and how emotions and our men show up when we are dealing with creativity and faith. So please don't forget to like, download, and subscribe. All right, Josh, let us
Does it
have.
have to be like long?
No, it could be short. It could be few
Okay.
sentences. Just dig it, jump, whatever you want. But
Okay.
it's in the
All
moment. Go
right.
ahead.
I'm gonna say, dear mama, you was from the bricks in the hood, but now you passed on and your son is doing all good.
Ah, yes, 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 yes. I love
Just my
you.
meaning behind that is just my mom, she was from the brick city. And my mom was from the West Ward. She went to West Side High School. She was a rough rider to the end. She will let you know that. And a lot of people that don't know, but isn't the Newark, it's an urban area. So my mom
Mhm.
technically did have to grow up in the hood necessarily. But now, she passed on and her son is doing good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss home. Josh has been God has assigned him to that area, and I'm so proud of what the work that you are doing in our home of Newark, New Jersey. So shout out Brick City. And I'm grateful that I get to come back and you're there and to see the work that you are doing there. So we're gonna check out of this space, Joshua. The checkout question is I came in blank and I'm leaving blank. Okay. I came in this space
Okay.
blank and now I'm leaving out of this space blank. And I'll go first and I'll pass it to you. I came in this space excited to be with my brother. I'm leaving um appreciative of the way in which the journey that God took you on made you the version you are today. Sometimes we, as a big sister, I wanted so badly to save you in a miracle, like this is hurting me. I know this is gonna hurt them. So
Yeah.
like, how can I save? How can I save? And there was so I'm leaving out this with appreciation for God's journey for you. And I remember maybe 2 years in to after mom, you said to me like, sis, like you worried about all of us, like, but like you got to worry about you. Like there's gifts you got, like you got like, so even when I think of this
Yeah.
show, this is why you had to be a guest on the show. Cause you were like, sis, yeah, you are already a good mom and a good wife. You got some
Yeah.
stuff in you that the world needs too. And I remember like you challenged me like, stop sitting in Virginia letting them people think they got like a hold on you. Like, no, they don't
You
get
can't
to
learn
win. They
too.
don't get to win. So I'm
Mhm.
appreciative that now there are moments where you pour into me. So I'm leaving out of here appreciative for that.
I would say I came in. I can say I came in a little anxious. And I was just like nervous. I'm like, what is she gonna say? How is it gonna go? What am I gonna say? And I would just say that I'm leaving out full. And when I say full, I just mean creatively full. And not
Mm,
even just it just when I say creatively, it kind of made me just realize today when I creative is bigger than my music. And sometimes I get so caught up where it's just like, oh, I haven't did this or I haven't did that. Am I still an artist? Am I still that? And it's like an artist creates, and I just it just makes me more now I feel like I'm even eager now. I just want to go jump off the porch. I just want to go create,
Yeah.
on all aspects. So I want to get out there and go do my street talk, my music that I have. I just want to get back into that creative bubble. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
full. My cup is full.
Good. I heard this bless me. My creativity is more than just my music. So it's my music
Yes,
and more. So if you're
and
listening
more.
to this and you've only seen your creativity through one lane, I hope that in the conversation with Josh, aka JLove, that you are aware that there's so much more. So much more. So with that said, I am Kiyaana. Josh, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for being in this space with
Thank
me.
you for
And
having me, sis. I appreciate it so much. Thank
absolutely.
y'all for having me as well. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and checking it out and listening to us and enjoying this conversation with us.
How do people stay connected with you? What's your handles on Instagram and Facebook?
So they can stay connected with me on Instagram at JLove_500. They can check out my YouTube at JLove TV. It's the same thing as JLOVE, capital TV. You can check me out on Facebook at Joshua JLove Burton. You can check me out on all those different sites and things like that. So you guys know
Perfect.
where to find me.
Good. Stay connected with us. So remember, the curtain will rise on your dream again. I'm Kiyaana Cox Jones. Thank you for coming into my creative sanctuary. God bless. And until next time. You see that? You see this? Because we live and this is theater, because I just want to do it like theater. My daughter thinks like she could just come in and come on my stage at any moment. So just let the voice, let's just let the people hear your voice say, have a nice day. She really don't want to talk to y'all. She want to talk to her uncle. That's what she really want to talk to. All right. Until the next time, people. Until the next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Creative Soul Sanctuary. Your support means everything to us. If you have any prayer requests or need to reach out, please email us at creativesoulsanctuary@gmail.com. Stay creative, stay inspired, and take care of your soul. Until next time, thank you for being a part of our community.